Hello everyone, welcome to a new video. My name is Ramsri and in this video we are going to discuss about my solo bootstrapped app question and how I went about making 100k USD in total revenue over the last 5 years with it. So back in 2020, when I was new to the startup world, I got to know about this concept of idea stage startup accelerators. So what that essentially means is that up until then, I believed that to approach startup accelerators or to get VC funding, you need to have a validated idea and have a prototype built. But for the first time, I got to know about startup accelerators like Entrepreneur First, Antler, where they just pick people who potentially have an idea. They don't need to have a prototype, they don't need to have a team or anything like that. So they are called as idea stage or even pre-idea stage startup accelerators. So essentially you need to be passionate and skilled about something, and that's all they need. So they bring together a cohort of people from all walks of life: product managers, engineers, uh, and scientists, everybody whom they can gather. And they put together a cohort of 50 to 100 people and let people ideate, let people collaborate and come up with potential ideas and validate them. So that's how my journey of building Question started as well. So I was based out of Hyderabad, India in 2020, and I I moved back in 2018 from US back to India, and I was looking to do something in the startup world, build something of my own. And in that process, I got to know about these startup accelerators. And Entrepreneur First was the one that I joined. It was based out of Singapore. I had no prior experience with any such startup accelerators or was aware of Singapore ecosystem as such. But I just went ahead and I applied for Entrepreneur First. I got accepted into that, and that's how my journey began. So there they bring together a cohort of people, and you need to ideate among yourselves, team up, essentially just two co-founders. So you need to team up with somebody, and ideally with complementary skill set. That means if you're a product manager, team up with somebody such as an engineer who can build, and vice versa. So that's how the idea of AI quiz generator or doing something in the education space started, where I initially teamed up with a co-founder in the education space, and me and my co-founder work towards what are the potential ideas that could be built out in 2020 2021 around edtech and AI space, because my co-founder comes from edtech background and I come from AI background. So we were trying to find potential ideas that were at the intersection of these two. So we went about several ideas. Um, for example, the online assessment and online tests were booming, online classes were booming. So we went about ideas like, can we identify distraction in online classes? Can we identify bullying in online classes in the chat? So all these computer vision based ideas, understanding the feed of all the children and identifying who is distracted, etc. That was one idea. And second idea was adaptive learning. So can we take a course or a syllabus and lesson plans, and can we um, arrange them in such a way that it is adapted to the skill level of the individual. So we went about exploring these ideas, as well as the third idea, which is AI quiz generation. So in total, three ideas. One is distraction detection in online classes. Second is adaptive learning, and the third is identifying uh, generating a quizzes directly from content, like multiple choice questions, true or false, etc. And when we were researching and talking to people in the education space about these problems, we identified that AI quiz generation is right for disruption. But the technology is slowly evolving in generative AI space, where you can take some text and generate some quizzes like question and answer, or question and multiple choice answers, true or false, etc. It was very nascent, but it was uh, possible to attempt, and that's when we started with that. And also, when we were talking to several education companies, we realized that the quiz generation is a complex process where they outsource it to third party companies called as item banks, where companies like McGraw Hill, Pearson, they would have a lesson, and they would give the contents of the lesson to um, these authors who will create quizzes from that content. And these were third party players who were helping them create assessments, etc. And we did realize that this is quite established process where big players outsource quiz creation and assessment creation to uh, third party companies. And that's when we realized that, okay, if we can bring together both AI, and we are able to do quiz generation with it, we would be able to deliver some value quickly. Um, and that's how it started. And we built our initial prototype with initial generative models that can do basic question generation, and distractors, that is multiple choice options with word vectors. That means if India is the right answer, you want other countries as the wrong answers for the multiple choice question. So we tried to use word vectors to give India as the input and get nearest word vectors like USA or other countries like Sri Lanka, etc. So, and also, even if correct answer is George W. Bush, similarly you would get uh, s- other presidents of the United States just with word vectors. That's how we got started with distractors, that is wrong answer choices in multiple choices. And slowly we were able to build a good prototype that does basic stuff, but nevertheless shows the potential. We were one of the first in the cohort to actually go and attempt to raise a seed round as well. We got a lead investors kind of approved, and they were ready to take part in our investment round as well. And prior to that, we got pre-seed funding from Entrepreneur First itself. So we had a small runway of 6 to 8 months or 1 year with the funding we had from Entrepreneur First, the pre-idea stage startup accelerator. And unfortunately, as fate would have it, there were some co-founder conflicts between me and my co-founder, and we realized that they are uh, deep in the sense that they portray different working styles of both of us. So it would not be ideal to take on the funds and proceed on this idea together. So we took the hard call to call it off, and we returned the funds to the investors and completely closed down the company. So, um, 1 month we were one of the first in the cohort to almost get a verbal commitment from seed investors for a 1 million seed round raise. And in the next 1 or 2 weeks, we were closing down our company and on the path to shut it down completely in Singapore. And that's just the truth of it. Uh, and We closed down the company eventually, and I realized I should just move back to India from Singapore. And I was also getting married at the same time. So I took a 4 to 6 months break, and I restarted my journey. So when I mean I restarted my journey, I had no clear path of what to do. This is 2021, and I started first writing online on Medium. So how we did this distractor generation with word vectors, and whatever small tech that we built. I started writing blogs about how to go about question generation using AI in education, and I started writing several blogs on Medium regarding the same. And slowly, one after the other, there were newer models, text generation models that could perform better. So I used some open source data sets to build question generation models. That means you give a paragraph of text and it generates a question and answer. And we were able to do that with some text generation models where we pre-trained or fine-tuned uh, those models on some custom data sets or open source data sets that were available, and we were able to do some question generation. And things slowly went on from there, where I took different kinds of data sets to generate true or false questions. Slowly, I put together several models to do this question generation that I have fine tuned, and we put together a GitHub library and released it on GitHub. Then it slowly started to gain traction. So by this time, I've built two things. One is I wrote several blogs on Medium about question generation in AI, and I released a GitHub library. And slowly, I started writing on LinkedIn and Twitter about what I've been building, question generation, and other stuff in general as well. So during the COVID time, it was my daily routine to just wake up, write something, whether it is technical or non-technical, on both LinkedIn and Twitter, and just that was the thing that I used to do. I did not take up any full-time job or anything like that, so I was in freelancing mode or in exploration mode. And slowly things started to pick up. People started to realize that I'm working in question generation in the AI space, and they were showing interest about how to train these models, things like that, etc. So slowly, after gaining some interest, I created a course. So I put together all the data sets, all the models and fine tuning techniques, and I created a course on Udemy called Question Generation Using Natural Language Processing. And that's how it started. And so far, the Udemy course made 10k USD in revenue total. And this was back in 2022 when I launched, and in the last 3 years, it made 10k USD in revenue. But nevertheless, after the success of Medium blogs, after the success of GitHub library, and after the success of the course, I decided that It's about time to launch a SaaS if possible, where someone can just paste in some text and generate some quizzes with it. But I had no clue about how to do it, so I started learning about no code tools like bubble.io, basically visual editors where you can drag and drop components, connect components, and connect some backend, associate some database to it, etc. So it was quite a bit of learning process where I learned about uh, everything from payments, databases, and these no-code tools like bubble.io, visual editors where you can connect things, establish some data flow, etc. And I first launched with just two basic text boxes, a left text box and a right text box. The left text box is where you put in some text and click on a generate button, and it generates some quizzes. That's it. And that was it. I just launched and I didn't even know about subscriptions, so I just added a pay per use model where you pay $5 or $10 and get 100 runs or 200 runs, etc. And it started from there. Slowly I understood about subscriptions using Stripe, and I integrated subscriptions to the same no code bubble.io app. And in the coming years like 2023, 2024, I realized that I'm hitting the ceiling of what's possible. I wanted to have very fluid UI where you can drag and drop components, drag and drop quizzes, change their orders, edit them fluidly, etc. So I realized I am hitting the limitations, and this is the time that I need to no, learn proper front end and full stack frameworks like Next.js. And I started learning them for about 6 months, and I rebuilt question entirely in Next.js, modern tech stack, and hosted it. And I whatever customers were there, I asked them to cancel and resubscribe on the new app. It was a bit of a hassle, but I'm glad that the transition worked over like 6 months, and finally I was able to port most of them to the new app. And in the similar times, like, I moved away from open source models as well and started using OpenAI APIs like GPT-3, etc. Came about at the time, and a lot of companies like Copy.ai, um, Jasper, etc., were also very successful during that time. So I started using, instead of training my own models and hosting them and paying for GPUs myself, I used to host them on AWS for $400 a month when I wasn't even making that kind of money with the whole app. But a lot of other generative AI models, text generation models came about, like GPT-3 from OpenAI, etc., and made life easier. I started experimenting with those models, and I completely ported my app to use these AI APIs, which cost less and are of higher quality as well, and they are general purpose models as well, so they could do all kinds of question generation, like multiple choice questions, true or false, fill in the blanks, all these without changing, with with just changing the prompt and not retraining anything, and not maintaining a separate model for each. And that's how I went about. And MRR peaked in 2024 to 4.2k MRR, so $4,200. And in early 2025, I hit the total revenue milestone of 100k USD in total over the last 5 years. Question is completely solo by me, so I'm happy for whatever has transpired. uh, I could do my side gigs, start another side gig called as super meme, take up full-time job in 2024 as well, and I could just keep question running despite other things, since I put in bulk of work from 2021 to 2023, and it came to a stable state where I just need to respond to customer emails nowadays, maybe like 1 or 2 hours every 2 weeks, or 2 3 hours in total a month, and that's it. Whenever there are newer models, I just update question to the newer models like GPT-5, etc. I do a quick test and upgrade, and whenever there are new features, I add them. For example, YouTube video to quiz directly using Gemini 2.5 models, basically Gemini models. And that's the journey of question, where I started with an idea with a co-founder. It didn't work out. Then I took a completely different route of slowly cooking the SaaS from GitHub library to course, uh, to no code tool, SaaS, then to full-fledged SaaS with Next.js, etc. And mostly built on social media marketing and founder-led marketing. That is me. And up until very recently, I haven't spent any money on marketing, so there was zero marketing spend. But only in the recent times, I've been running some Google ads with the help of somebody I hired on Upwork. So I'm just experimenting with paid Google ads, and that's where it is. I'm happy that the journey of question has taught me about solopreneurship, how to build an app from the ground up, from an idea, and also doing full circle, filing taxes every year, and finishing that loop. Thanks a lot for hearing through my journey of building question. I hope there are some takeaways that you can use in building your own apps. Thank you.